Well, good afternoon, basketball fans, and welcome here to the Spark Arena in Auckland, New Zealand for tonight's game, the final matchup here in Group B between New Zealand and Gilas Filipinas. This is the 2025 FIBA Asia Cup qualifiers, and both these two teams have already booked their tickets, but tonight it's a matter of national pride. Well, we're indeed live here at this magnificent arena that did open in 2007. A capacity crowd of 10,000 should be in the building tonight. And there you can see Gilas Filipinas fans arriving here early. Well, both these two teams had games earlier in the window. Of course, Philippines losing their first game of the window to Chinese Taipei, while New Zealand, of course, an emphatic victory on the road against Hong Kong, China. Well, we show the standings right now in the group, and due to the fact the Philippines are already defeating New Zealand, they will remain top. But the winner of this game today will finish top of the group as we head into the 2025 FIBA Asia Cup. Well, where did it go wrong for Gilas Filipinas against Chinese Taipei? Well, one thing that came into fact was the absence of one Kai Soto. The missing double-double big man of 15 points and 12 rebounds per game really did impact this team. But also, Gilas, credit to them, they hit 10 three-point field goals, but the 17 turnovers proved to be too much. Well, there you see number 32, Justin Brownlee, the Ginebra legend, did finish with 39 points. Gilas' second leading scorer was indeed Dwight Ramos. And there's AJ Edu, a young man who, if you remember, back in the 2023 FIBA Basketball Cup, was applauded by one Karl Anthony Towns. And they're going to need the big man to have a big game tonight.
Richard Del Rosario and Joseph Enrique Uchicho.
Well, now we're going to turn our attentions to New Zealand. And as expected, well, Tim Cone felt like he had to take a lot of responsibility, but it's a collective effort. It's got to be players and coaches for tonight's game, and they're up against some very good opponents. Well, number one, Ruben Tarangi, one of the more experienced players on this team, had 18 points against Hong Kong, China. He's now reaching the prime of his career. The beauty of this team, you've got a great blend of players in their prime, players in veteran years, and also up-and-coming young players. You just saw Kaya Isaac along with Walter Brown come out the lineup along with young Taylor Britt, who did finish with 9 points against Hong Kong, China. Well, there's probably their most experienced player, Corey Webster, a legend in his own right mind. Well, Ty Wynyard, of course, was a heavy young prospect, became the youngest ever New Zealand international player to play back in 2014 against South Korea. Final two players coming out, Jordan Natsai, who was their leading scorer, and he's their head coach, John Flavel, of course, and we'll get to him. But now, indeed, basketball fans, it's only right that we stand, pay our respect and homage for the national anthems of these two very beautiful countries.
First, we will hear the national anthem of the Philippines, sung by Iris Irizaldi. This will be followed by the national anthem of New Zealand, to be sung by Teo Horidi Williams.
Sa dagat at bundok, sa simoy at sa langit mong bughaw, may dilagang tula at awit sa paglayang minamahal. Ang kislap ng watawat mo'y tagumpay na nagniningning, ang bituin at araw niyang kailan may di magdidinig. Lupa ng araw ng walhati pagsinta, buhay ang langit sa piling mo. Aming
National anthems of these two very beautiful countries have been sung, and now players, of course, will shake hands with each other, pay each other homage, as we get set to introduce three very important people for tonight's game. Well, those three people, I should say four actually, four people, of course, are a commissioner, technical delegate, and three referees. I think we're going to get greeted to a very beautiful tradition of international basketball. It's going to be displayed from the New Zealand international team, as we're now about to embrace Tukaha. Well, this just has to be one of the most beautiful and amazing, incredible displays of culture that you're going to find in international basketball. And indeed, it is time for Tukaha. Well, within the great words of the great Paolo Winitana, former New Zealand player, the essence of Tukaha means standing strong together. And it's ingrained in that very haka. Well, now indeed it's time to introduce those four very important people for tonight's game, and those are our three referees and one commissioner. Well, our referees tonight are coming from Australia and Iran. We have James Alexander Boyer, Mohammed Doost, and James Grigul. And our commissioner and technical delegate for tonight's game is Anthony Gunawan. Well, we must pay homage and say a very big thank you to all of our officials who've done a magnificent job in all of our competitions, and they'll continue to do so for this final game for these two teams here in Group B of the FIBA Asia Cup qualifiers. Well, we're going to take a look at the starting lineups for these two teams, and we will begin indeed with Gilas Pilipinas. Well, they're going to need a big response, of course, from the defeat against Chinese Taipei. So big man Juma Fajardo, arguably one of the greatest players in the history of the PBA, will start down low. Justin Brownlee the 4, while Kevin Kimball, along with Dwight Ramos, and of course the never legend Scotty Thompson, will make up the backcourt. Well, Tim Cone needs a response from his players tonight. Again, a man who, of course, has been ingrained within the culture of Philippine basketball, especially in the PBA via Ginebra. And as I mentioned, both the Philippines and New Zealand have already qualified for the FIBA Asia Cup. So this game has little impact. I mean, the winner of this game will finish top of the group, but it's about basketball excellence, national pride. Well, now we'll take a look at the starting lineup for New Zealand. Well, young Taylor Britt will start in the backcourt. Ruben Tarangi, one of their more experienced players, along with Corey Webster, while Tony Smith-Milner and Jordan Ate, who was their leading scorer, as I mentioned, against Hong Kong, China. Well, this team, as of last summer, now coached by Judd Flavel. If you know anything about your history of New Zealand basketball, go back to 2002 when it was known as the FIBA World Championship that was hosted in Indianapolis. New Zealand, miraculously led by former coach Piero Cameron in that tournament, made it to 4th place. And Judd Flavel was a part of that team and had a very good performance, to say the least, against the United States of America that had players such as Ben Wallace and Reggie Miller. Well, now basketball fans, our official sponsor for this game, the countdown to tip-off brought to you by Tissot, is underway, as we are now moments away from getting this game back on the track. Well, it's a great matchup between two very good teams who, you know, we could very well see compete for a medal at the upcoming FIBA Asia Cup. That's the first time they met was in 2016 at the Olympic qualifiers. Because they met twice in the 2023 FIBA Basketball World Cup qualifiers. And then they met again at the 2022 FIBA Asia Cup, in which New Zealand took all the wins. But finally, Gilas Pilipinas, they broke the ice. They won the last time they met in the Asia Cup qualifiers. There's head coach Judd Flavel. Well, he knows what to expect from his players. One thing they're going to be tonight is very relentless on defense. And you know, the thing about New Zealand as well, they know full well that this just isn't a team based around Justin Brownlee. Yes, they know that he's going to be their top scorer. but they're very aware of the threat you're going to get from Scotty Thompson, Dwight Ramos, and the inside presence of Jumar Fajardo, also known as the Kraken. Well, all roads began last year in this month. Now we're in the final window, the final game for both New Zealand and the Philippines. We'll see both teams at the Asia Cup, but now it's a matter of national pride, basketball excellence, as these two teams will battle it out here in Auckland. Well, it is indeed going to be New Zealand who have the first possession. Trying to get into an early set is going to be key now for them. Smith-Milner getting a first three-pointer defended by Jumar Fajardo, and that's going to be a defensive nightmare for the Philippines. Fajardo's got to adapt to going out and defending on the perimeter, something he's not accustomed to. Thompson finding Dwight Ramos. And now Kim Bao coming up for a ball screen. Ramos looking for an ISO, spins, goes for a mid-range, shot is up, no good. Kim Bao coming up with the 50-50. Thompson now here getting a handoff. That's a nice penetration, no foul call. Well, no, it is, excuse me. So 2 free throws coming up for Scotty Thompson. Well, that's going to be key tonight for Gilas Pilipinas, and something New Zealand's going to have to be worried about is the spacing in this offense. Well, they know the threat they're going to get from players such as Thompson and Dwight Ramos. And no doubt Coach Judd Flavel would have had his team defensively very well prepared for this game. Well, haven't taken up the role after the 2023 FIBA basketball. Well, they've not called this a shooting foul. So this is going to be a baseline possession to the Philippines. Thompson will inbound this. Trying to find Justin Brownlee, but another foul is going to be called off the ball. And this is trademark New Zealand defense. They're very physical, but one thing they've got to be wary of, not to pick up too many unnecessary fouls early on. Ruben Tarangi's going to have the mighty job of matching up with Brownlee. Brownlee goes quickly, mid-range shot is up, and he buries that one. Well, he's definitely been the go-to player for this team. But one thing we've seen here in the Asia Cup qualifiers, it's a much better collective effort. Well, buries another three-pointer, and New Zealand opening up with 2 triples early on. Jordan Natai just came off that curl screen. Defense is going to have to try to figure out how to chase him around and make that a more contested three-point shot. Now Ramos, he'll fire one. He'll bury this. Both teams going back and forth at each other. Currently playing in the Japanese B League for Levenga Hokkaido. Patient build-up now. Natai goes for step back, defended by Kevin Kim Bao, going in ISO mode. Well, he's proven too tough to handle. Currently playing in Austria this season with the Kaffenberg Bulls. Webster trying to make life tough here for Ramos, but Ramos going coast to coast. Well, no help side defense. Now Webster trying to get one back here against Ramos. Well, Tarangi was wide open on the roll, but another 3 coming from New Zealand. Brownlee comes in for the rebound. New Zealand not short of confidence going for that three-pointer. Well, Jumar trying to get a post up. Now wants to go against Smith-Milner. This is a good battle between 2 very physical bigs. Good defense. New Zealand leading by 1 point. Another ball screen set. And the foul's going to be called on the ground. I don't know if they called this one on Jumar Fajardo, but Ramos went to the deck. And this is great for Taylor Britt because he's getting more action as a primary ball handler for New Zealand. Of course, what's fantastic about both these countries and their federations is the amount of youth players coming through the ranks. Not quite sure what let's have a look here again. I think they've called this one on Fajardo for a slight little push. Webster now fires a 3. This one's up, and again, already 3 triples coming from New Zealand. Well, the home court advantage, knowing all the best spots on the court is going to be the thing for them. Thompson now, well, had an opening, but he's not much of a three-point shooter when he plays in the PBA, but if they leave him that wide open, he's got to make the defense respect him. Now he's going to take the three. Three is up, no good. Ramos battling for an offensive board. Now goes for a putback. And Fajardo really struggling. Second chance points could be a key difference between these two teams. Now Tarangi goes in the paint, playing bully basketball. And already a 6-point lead here to New Zealand. The Philippines right now, you can see they're getting these offensive boards. They've got to convert them into second chance points. Thompson goes behind the back and nutmegs Juma Fajardo. It's another turnover. Well, they've been on fire so far. Can they make it 4? And that's a little too short. Already 2 points in the game for Justin Brownlee. They're going to need something big from Fajardo. No Kai Soto tonight. Now Brownlee mid-range gets a second field goal. And he cuts it down to a 4-point deficit. Well, for him to be doing the things he's been doing at his age, just goes to show what a prime-time professional Justin Brownlee is. This goes back and forth between playing in the Indonesian Basketball League and the Philippine Basketball Association. Well, again, just way too easy. And Jordan Natsai just went straight down the baseline. 7 points already. He's averaging 12.5 here in the Asia Cup qualifiers. They're going to need a post up now from Fajardo. Ramos coming off one screen. Well, goes for another 3-point. That's not going to go. And here comes New Zealand. Leading by 6 points. Patiently trying to build up something here in the half court, but again, stressing the issue through the ball screen. Well, they'll go for another 3. Why not? It's up, and again, it's good. And New Zealand have come out like a house on fire. Already 4 for 6 from downtown. And Toby Smith-Milner now hits his second 3-pointer. Tim Cohn wants to talk this one over. Well, this is the benefit of having Smith-Milner set these ball screens. He just pops out, and nobody comes out to contest this one. That time, Thompson a little too late. Well, going to go down to the Philippine bench to hear what head coach Tim Cohn has to say to his players. They trail by 9 points.
We got to stay with them. That was a great rebound, but you didn't need to throw it up right away. Come on, we got to make better plays than that. Scotty, you cannot throw the back door. You got to be stronger there, Jumar. Come on now. All right, play free and easy, but you got to play smart as well, guys. We haven't made a stop yet. They made one miss. That's it. 1 3-point shot. All right. All right. Stay solid what you're doing. They can't live off the 3-whole game. All right. But they can't give up the layups, guys. All right. Let's go. You got weapons.
Well, quite a simple timeout there from head coach Tim Cohn. I think the key thing for him is going to be defense. I think you heard there in the timeout, he said, look, we're getting offensive boards, but let's go for the right shot. Well, defensively, they're going to have to figure out how to stop that man. Already 7 points here for Jordan Natsai, followed up by Toby Smith-Milner with 6. Isaiah Leafa checking into the game now for the first time here for New Zealand. Thompson now bringing the ball up, trying to get the Philippines here into an organized half-court set. Houston also subbing into the game for the first time. Brownlee now, got it by Max Darling. Now they go for another 3. Well, that's a good look, but somebody's got to go in for an offensive board. Thompson down the middle, kicks out. Leafa goes all the way, no help side defense, and all of a sudden it's all New Zealand. Philippines, if they don't crash the boards, it's going to be a long night for them. Brownlee gets caught a double team, finds Fajardo, goes in, finishes, and that's much better from the Kraken. Well, the San Miguel Beerman legend is going to have to play a big part tonight. The absence of Kai Soto has made it very challenging for Gilas here in this window. Webster calls the screen, pump fake, steps through, double clutches. Can't get it, but at the moment, New Zealand, they just want this game a little bit more. Ty Wynyard went in for the second chance points. Well, again, they go to Juma. And that's much better, drawing the 13th foul against New Zealand. Well, Juma's got a few years ahead of Ty Wynyard. This is much better play, trying to seal the big man inside the paints. Well, Ty Wynyard trying to argue the case. There was a bit of an elbow there, but hey, it's a physical game. You got to battle. Baseline possession. New Zealand only one foul to give here with 3:45. Trying to find Brownlee. Brownlee heavily defended. AJ Edu subbing into the game for the first time. JB down the middle. Kicks out, finds Thompson. Steps back, goes for another three. This one's up, no good. As AJ Edu getting the offensive board and getting rejected. And that's going to be a jump ball. Well, Ty Wynyard may have given up an offensive board, but my goodness, did he make himself a solid New Zealand insurance policy? Well, there's a three-pointer. Great work by Edu. Well, the long reach of Ty Wynyard. So possession here, I believe, goes in favor of the Philippines. Another fadeaway mid-range. Brownlee up to 6 points. Well, as many people had said on social media, even with 39 points, he's got to need a bit of help here tonight. Another teardrop, no good. Now the Philippines looking to break. Down by 9. Newsom now bumps, goes in. It's not the best shot to take, especially when no one's able to go in for an offensive board. Well, another three in the corner again. 5th three-pointer for New Zealand. Well, Tim Cone said in the timeout they can't live and die by the perimeter shot. But so far it's put them ahead by 12. Ramos going for a post-up, defended by Taylor Britt. Now caught a double team. Newsom cuts. It's a deflection, so it will be a baseline possession to Gilas. You see Troy Rosario there in the back. He was suiting up for the national team, but change coming into the game as Jordan Natsai will go to the bench. Still 7 points, leading scorer at the moment in this game between these two teams. Thompson now curls the screen, goes in. No, it's going to be a charge. Well, good defense by Isaiah Leafa. Well, interesting. We're actually in Auckland in this 10,000 seat capacity arena in Spark Arena. And there's quite a few echoes of boos. Well, that's a good call. That's a good call. Because Isaiah Leafa, number 1, he's outside the restricted zone. Number 2, he's set. Well, Dwayne Ramos leaving the game, so Carl Tamayo subbing into the game. Gilas trying to go a little bit bigger. New Zealand already 0 turnovers and 5 assists. He's done a phenomenal job of taking care of the basketball. There's a pick and roll, and that's going to be a foul. And once against Newsom, only the 13th foul for the Philippines here in the first quarter. 2:14 left. They've called it a shooting foul. So now Ty Wynyard will go to the free throw line. Well, Ty Wynyard, born and raised here in Auckland, New Zealand, played his university basketball at Kentucky only for 2 seasons. This is the only time he's ever played outside the NBL was when he played that 1 season in the Chinese Basketball Association for the Shanghai Sharks. If you love your international basketball, that was the one team that was developing the infamous Yao Ming. Biggest lead of the game currently for New Zealand. Tamayo pops out to the perimeter, fires a 3, can't get it. Newsom battles for a 50-50. And Gilas get this one back. And Brownlee. And it's a sloppy turnover. Oh no, it's going to remain Gilas ball. So that one took a slight deflection out of bounds. So Darling's going to leave the game. He'll sub out after making that 3-pointer. Ruben Tarangi coming back into the lineup along with Tony Smith-Milner. 6 seconds left here on the shot clock. Tamayo going for a post-up. Foul's going to be called, and that's the final team foul for New Zealand to give away. That's Great to see Kyle Tamayo, and we did see this in the last window in the two games, really enjoying that mid-range post-up game. Just loving life playing currently in the Korean Basketball League. Tamayo again. We're going to post up from 15. Nice spin. Again, it's good defense at Tamayo. Oh, again, good move, but he's unable to finish. Well, Gillis getting good looks, but now New Zealand wanting to make them pay. Oh, good interception. Can he get something in transition? Brownlee now looking to ISO. Nowhere to go here. Newsom had the three, didn't go for it. Now goes to the mid-range, finds separation, and everything falling for 15 for Gilas Pilipinas. As that cuts it down to a 12-point deficit. Gilas do have one foul to give. There's a baseline penetration. Oh, he's been on fire so far. Fires another one. 6 3-point field goals for New Zealand here in the first quarter. They are on fire. Well, now indeed it is the biggest lead of the game. Tony Smith-Milner making 3 of those 6 3-point field goals. Well, Thompson left wide open. Got to make this one. Well, he's got to take that. It's a good look. Roughly 9 seconds difference between game and shot clock. New Zealand want to further build their momentum. Good now. We got a wide open Tony Smith-Milner. He's made 3 threes. Unable to get this one. Now Gilas can dribble this down for the final shot. And there's a double team. Now they almost threw that away. Well, CJ Perez coming into the game for Gilas Pilipinas, so it's going to be interesting to see who's. Well, it's only 6.7. This may change at the end of the first quarter, but imagine Chris Newsom's going to play point guard. Well, Newsom's got to go quickly. Final seconds. Finds Brownlee. Brownlee now caught a double team. Newsom fires a 3. Almost got it. And that would have been big. Well, that will do the end of the first quarter. But currently New Zealand lead this one by 15 points against Gilas Pilipinas. This is the 2025 FIBA Asia Cup Qualifiers Group B fixture. The final game for these two teams. Well, we're going to run down the key stats from this game. So far, Gilas have only 2 turnovers. They do have 1 still for that matter, but they've only converted 1 3-point field goal. Head coach Judd Flavel probably very happy with his players at the moment. But one thing Gilas need to do, they need to do a better job of getting to the free throw line. New Zealand 6 out of 9 from the perimeter. They are cooking. Well, now it's time indeed to run back the best moments and look at the highlights here from the first quarter. New Zealand up by 15. Well, we are going to see those highlights momentarily. But one thing you got to imagine, interesting here with the 8 rebounds New Zealand have, only 1 of them has been an offensive board. Well, Gilas, that's one area they have been slightly better than New Zealand. They have, actually, well, going back to that stat, New Zealand, as mentioned, only 1 offensive rebound, but they've been converting all the shots at the moment. And that's the other argument. Gilas currently with 5 offensive boards, 1 more than their defensive stat. 6 points coming at the moment here for Justin Brownlee. Is currently 3 for 3 from the field. And as Coach Tim Cone said, they can't live all night long from the perimeter. That's something Gilas Pilipinas is going to have to try to pick up. There's the only 1 3-pointer coming from the Philippines, and that was Dwight Ramos. Look at the baseline play here. Well, that's a tough move by Jordan Natai. And this is what they need from Juma. You got to try to put the post-interior defense of New Zealand under pressure. It's just how quickly every player here for Judd Flavel, for the New Zealand national team, the movement off the ball. And Ruben Tarangi, it's off his nails with the post-up. Well, Basel fans, make sure you download Courtside 1891. Use that QR code and download Courtside 1891 to stream FIBA Live games to get all the schedules and scores. Courtside 1891. Download it today. Well, again, Webster now pulls up for a long two-pointer. That doesn't go. And was able to secure the rebound. Not coming up for a bull screen, but C.J. Perez fires a three. It's not going to go, but an offensive board. Fajardo's got to go up with it. Foul's going to be called, and that's much better by the Kraken. That's all they can ask for Juma Fajardo at the moment, to battle as best he can inside the paints. And there was a three-pointer. It's going to be an interesting battle all night long between those two giants. Well, Juma Fajardo, arguably the face of the PBA, as he's been in the 10-time champion, 4-time PBA Finals MVP, and 8-time PBA Most Valuable Player. He was drafted by San Miguel Bimman back in 2012, and then they were known as the Petron Blaze Boosters. He was unable to hit the second free throw. Webster again curls that screen. Now Taylor Britt almost gets his pocket picked. Yusuf comes up with it. Now the Philippines have numbers. Yusuf's going to go all the way, finishes, and he gets the one. Well, had two players with him, but decided to go himself. That's a nice finish by. This is how he's got to play tonight. Chris Newsom, so far here in the FIBA Asia Cup qualifiers, has averaged 7.2 points per game along with 4 rebounds. In fact, his best game was against New Zealand when they won at the Mall of Asia with 11 points. He's able to convert the three-point play. Gilas now on a 4-0 run. Ty Wynyard coming up for the high screen. Rick goes baseline. Webster now pulls back for a long two-pointer. This guy simply is cash money. And it's just how lethal Corey Webster is able to find the separation, even when he wants to isolate for his own shot. Fajardo trying to be aggressive. Now caught a double team. That's going to be another foul. Well, Taylor Britt went in for the double, went in for the reach. But did they call this one on Ty Wynyard? Well, change coming in for the Philippines. Justin Brownlee will go to the bench as Calvin Oftana subs in for the first time. Well, this is good for Gilas, because if you can get into the penalty very early on, you try to chip into the deficit at the free throw line. We got to get open. Penner's now in the backcourt. Trying to size up some options. Bumps. Now goes for mid-range. Banks open. It's back to 11-point deficit. You can see Gilas right now more clinical from the mid-range. We find out caught a double team. Keeps this one alive, and Ruben Tarangi left wide open. And that's a case of getting caught ball watching. Tarangi so far 4 points, all of them coming inside the key at the moment for New Zealand. Oftana pump fakes. No to go here. If a travel was called or a jump, I think it's going to be a traveling violation maybe. Well, this is the issue with Gilas Pilipinas. When you take Justin Brownlee off the floor, you don't naturally have that go-to scorer. Well, no. Jump ball was called, so it's going to remain Gilas ball. Stand corrected. So 5 here on the shot clock. Oftana now. Got to make something happen. Let's go over tough contested fadeaway, and again the mid-range for Gilas is automatic. Patiently going through those ball screens. Another kick out. Tarangi now, foul called against Newsom. That's a good call. Well, the Gilas fans here in the arena expressing their disapproval, but if you see there, I mean, International basketball, you're going to find that one called 10 times out of 10. I mean, watch here. Here's the closeout. Tarangi puts it when there's both arms wrapped around him. There's no other decision the referee can go with. Well, timeout's going to be called. We're going to go down to the bench. I believe this one has been called by New Zealand, so Judd Flavel may want to talk it over with his players. Because when we come back, it will be a sideline possession to New Zealand. Oh, yeah, it is.
Right here, you are in your Zoom. Corey coming off the weak side here. Zoom on this sideline out of bounds. You're going to that corner, okay? Hey, when you're in there, we're playing, we stay with our flow stuff. Stay with our flow. Keep it simple here, all right?
Ball goes ahead, it comes back.
Yeah, the nails in. When we come out of this timeout, the next stop we get, they don't get an offensive rebound on us. We walked out of here, said that we're going to do it. Weather the storm right here. Weather the storm.
An interesting timeout there called by Judd Flavel. Even though his team do have a double-digit lead, I think he takes a lot of pride in their ownership and physicality. As you heard the message, when they come back down the other end, he doesn't want New Zealand to give up another offensive rebound. So far, Gilas still have the margin with offensive rebounds, 6 offensive boards and only 5 defensive. Webster now kicks out. Tarangi finds another 3. That's way off the mark. But New Zealand still try to save it, but that goes out of bounds. Well, you just have to love what this man brings to this team. Just always wears his heart on his sleeve. And I think the first time you may remember Ruben Tarangi was when FIBA first went to the window system for the 2019 Basketball World Cup. Paris now hesitates. Finds Tamayo. Misses last 3. And not going to miss that one. And all of a sudden here, it's an 8-point deficit. Almost 3 minutes played in the second quarter. Oh, again, New Zealand just keep on cooking. Well, they don't look like they're going to miss any time. 60% from the perimeter. The Tim Cone's players have to figure out you cannot keep going under the screens. You've got to fight around them. Yusuf getting a hand up. Now a switch on defense. Tamayo, this is what he likes. The mid-range post-up. Tamayo down the middle, goes in, tough move. And I tell you what, the progression in Kyle Tamayo's career since playing in the Japanese B-League with the Ryukyu Golden Kings and now in the KBL, he's looking like a much more confident player. That's intelligence right there, identifying the mismatch and drawing Ty Wynyard over for the help side, which then commits the foul. It's the physicality in this game that's definitely improved. Makes the first free throw. He started his university career in the Philippines at Adamson. Well, that was high school, excuse me. Went to play at the University of Philippines, my apologies. It's the UAP Fanatics. You might want to hear that one, that mistake made, but the second free throw missed by Tamayo. New Zealand leading by 10 points. And they've made 6 threes, can they make 7? A great job by Gillis, preventing New Zealand getting offensive boards. And they cut it back down to single digits. And now we hit 10 here on the shot clock. Paris got to make something happen. Finds Juma, mismatch in the paint, jump hook, got to finish. Big man going to work. And he's got to produce what Kai Soto gave with the double-double of 15 and 12. And they're going to have to ask the greatest player in the history of the PBA to really step up tonight, even in his veteran years. And a timeout is going to be called here by Judd Flavel. And we're not going to go down to the New Zealand bench to hear what he has to address to his players. They've led by as many as 16 points, but now it's been cut in half to 8. Well, much better second quarter by the Philippines, winning this one 14-7 and 0 turnovers. And that is something they'll take a lot of pride in, knowing they had 17 in their defeat against Chinese Taipei. Well, let's listen now to Coach Flavel.
switches on the fours and just gap it, depending on who the scout is. But now, Fajardo versus Tohi, we're down on the dribble, right? So we're going, he's catching it, takes time, we all get to our spots. Make sure that opposite is here under the basket, right? Down on the dribble.
Well, interesting timeout by Coach John Flavel. No switches, but again, the issue they've got is when Fajardo comes out and sets that ball screen to 45 extended, I guess he wants them to hedge out and double the point guards. Because one issue that he's identifying now, Juma Fajardo is going to be a mismatch nightmare for any of the backcourt players in New Zealand. Well, Tohi Smith-Milne, you just saw come out the timeout, leading scorer so far here with 9 points. And there's a baseline penetration, goes up, misses. Great defense by CJ Perez. Philippines down by 8. Again, a much better productive second quarter. Calvin Oftana catches the ball, goes for a quick 3, and that's not going to go. Look how quickly New Zealand get the ball to the court. Foul's going to be called, so 2 free throws coming up for Jordan Natai. If it's one thing New Zealand don't get enough credit for is how quickly they push the ball in transition. They don't play a run and gun style. They'll go quick and they'll find the very best shot. But now Justin Brownlee, coming back into the game. So Brownlee will play the power forward. I'd say at the charity stripe here for New Zealand. Well, he was actually born in Sydney in Australia, but did grow up here in New Zealand. He's played a few college years at Sierra College and then BYU Hawaii. Started his pro career with the Wellington Saints. As mentioned, currently playing in Austria, the tip, and that's going to be a 3-point play. Oh, very unfortunate set of circumstances, but great work by New Zealand. Thompson trying to go quickly. Well, Perez out of control. Probably didn't need to take that shot. Keeps this one for God, but he fumbles it out of bounds. Well, Perez is quite an exciting player, but you know, when you talk about the Philippines trying to be a championship contender at the upcoming FIBA Asia Cup, those are the kind of shots they can't afford to take in their offense. Well, he's made 3 threes that leave him wide open again. This man simply is lighted up tonight here at the Spock Arena. Incredible. Tohi Smith-Milne, 4 out of 6 from 3-point land, and extending New Zealand's lead back to 14. Well, Brownlee may have got away with the backcourt. He just had his foot away from the line. Very close to call. Final seconds. Juma, got to go quickly. Goes in, draws another foul. And this time they didn't need to switch. Tohi Smith-Milne, I believe he's picked up a second personal foul, and he's infuriated, but what do you expect? I mean, you swiped at him, you did the right thing by sagging back and drawing Juma Fajardo. I mean, the defense was good, they're right there, but why swipe? I mean, you caught Juma Fajardo off balance. Can argue the decision all he wants, but I'd say that's a good call. Fajardo getting the first free throw to drop. 6 points so far this evening for Juma Fajardo. He's averaging just under 10 points per game so far. Had 14 in that win against Hong Kong, China in the last window. Second one good. And 4:32 to go here in the second quarter. New Zealand holding on to a double-digit momentum here at the moment. Max Darling's also subbed back in the game. With nowhere to go. Well, may have got away with the travel there. It's now under 10. Pulls up mid-range, puts it up. That one's good. And a smooth play by Taylor Britt. Well, that's Britt's first field goal of the game. Oftana. EJ Edu also in the lineup. Justin Brownlee trying to catch Ruben Tarangi off the backdoor play. Thompson goes in, avoids the block, can't finish, and Edu can't tip it back in. Good The defense right now standing strong here from New Zealand. O'Donnell's wide open. They get another three in the corner. It's not going to go. An offensive board falling to New Zealand. A nice little quick screen set by Tarangi. Rip pulls up. Mid-range, buries that one right in the face of Brownlee. He's back to the biggest margin in which New Zealand already once had at 16 points. Well, New Zealand, of course. Brownlee goes quick, no foul. Can't somebody explain to me what we just saw Justin Brownlee do? Caught that one. I think he was expecting a foul to be called. And Brownlee with 8 points, hasn't missed a shot this evening. Well, Taylor Britt's going to leave the game. He's played some very good minutes so far, the youngster. So Kai Isaacs subbing into the game for the first time. Another part of the regression plan here from New Zealand's National Federation. Tana trying to keep up. Tarangi hesitates, fires a three, and everything flying in at the moment. Make that triple indeed. Number 9 here from New Zealand in the first half. They're 9 out of 15. It's Dwight Ramos also back in the lineup. And Max Donnelly did a great job coming out and switching, just making life uncomfortable for Dwight Ramos. 7 here on the shot clock for the Philippines. 2:31 to go in the second quarter. Well, timeout's going to be called by Coach Tim Cone. His team have played slightly better here in the second quarter, but one thing they've had an issue of dealing with is the excellent three-point shooting from New Zealand. So we'll go down to hear what Coach Tim Cone has to say to his players. Well, New Zealand, though, with 7 seconds. They don't want to commit a foul and send the Philippines to the free throw line. But Tony Smith-Milner, well, he had 11 against Hong Kong, China. With the 4 3-pointers he's buried so far out of the 6 attempts, he's put him at 14. Well, they've got to go quickly. Not a lot of time for Brownlee. Brownlee now. Well, good defense. And now New Zealand can push this one. And that's how he gets fouled. And that's not a bad foul, because what it does, it just stops New Zealand getting something quick in transition. It's only the 3rd team foul against the Philippines. Good hands by Natai. That could have been called a foul. Well, they find Dahlin, kicks out. 3-pointer number 10 coming up. And the final team foul is going to be called against Gilas. Well, it's interesting how New Zealand have issues hitting them when they're wide open. But if they're contested, as mentioned, 9 out of 16 so far here in the first half. Well, he's wide open under the basket. Don't get him. Well, there's another one. Another offensive board. To Isaac, who's only just subbed into the game here for Kai Isaac, excuse me. Final seconds. Nice hesitation, goes in, misses. Edu with the rebound. Philippines looking to push. Neither team with any fouls to give with under 2 minutes to go here in the second quarter. Trying to get into that triangle offense. Edu looking for a handoff. No one to get. Finds off Tana. Final seconds. This is good defense by New Zealand. And Brownlee's got to shoot this. And that's going to be a 24-second violation. Well, this is where leadership is needed on the floor. Somebody's got to communicate to Aftana. Time is winding down. In that case here, and this is where the criticism has come from many of the pundits online. In a case like that, you've got to put the ball in the hands of a go-to player. And New Zealand's game plan, especially on the defensive end, is to make life difficult for Justin Brownlee. Jamie Malonzo subbing into the game for the first time. As it goes off one screen. There's a pump fake. Finds Darling. Oh, again, three in the corner. 10 three-point field goals here in the first half. It is simply raining in Auckland. And now biggest lead in the game at 20 points. And they hit 5 in the first quarter. Now 5 in the second. Alonso trying to go baseline. Heavily defended. Soft pass, turns it over. He regathers this one. Now Brownlee back to Thompson. Thompson goes in. Again, good defense by Max Darling. Well, he had Fajardo with him. Decided to go himself. Good hands by Thompson. Doesn't want to pick up a foul here. Don't want to send New Zealand to the free throw line. Well, lines it quickly off the handoff. Final seconds. Not tight. Surely not 11. And now the Philippines have 3 seconds difference between game and shot clock, but they're gonna regather this one. Fajardo matching up. Now pulls up mid-range. Now you just give New Zealand a chance to get one final play. And again, leadership desperately needed on the floor for Gilas. We're trying to go for the ISO. And that's going to be a turnover, and that will do the end of the first half, where New Zealand's 10 three-point field goals put them up by 20 points against Gilas Pilipinas. Well, this indeed is the last game for these two teams here at Group B. The winner will finish top of the group as we head into the 2025 FIBA Asia Cup. Well, we're going to look at some of the key stats here from this game. New Zealand, apart from their excellent perimeter shooting, do have 19 rebounds. One still to the name, and only 3 turnovers. You know, credit to the Philippines. They've only turned the ball over 4 times tonight, and they actually have more offensive boards than New Zealand. But the big difference right now is the fact that New Zealand have 8 more three-point field goals than the Philippines. Apart from the assists, you see the rebounds relatively equal, same as the turnovers. While New Zealand at the moment being led by Toby Smith-Milner with 14 points. Justin Brownlee so far only missing 1 shot from the field. He has 8. But there are your leading scorers. 2 players for New Zealand in double figures. Well, now we'll look at the best highlights from the first half. Well, here was Chris Newsom going coast to coast, getting the and one. That is a tempo you're probably used to seeing him play for the Morocco Bolts in the PBA. And here was Calvin Aftana. Again, back down mid-range. That's where they've been good tonight. Right now, they've got to match up to the perimeter shooting of New Zealand. Here's the foul called against Newsom. And here was Katamayo coming off one screen and getting the lucky draw. That was only the second three-pointer made after the one hit by Dwight Ramos in the first quarter. Again, they're going to need something big tonight from these players. It can't just be Justin Brownlee. The 39 points against Chinese Taipei just wasn't enough. It was Lefaya stepping back, and they went under the screen. Newsom's got to fight around that one. Well, Gilman's had some good looks so far in the paint. 7 points for the Kraken. Has missed 1 free throw, but he's the second leading scorer at the moment. The Philippines, knowing that this is their last game, has New Zealand, and having picked up that monumental win at the Mall of Asia. I imagine the message right now at halftime with Coach Tim Cone is simply, listen, it's about pride. Coach Tim Cone said in the first timeout, they can't live from the three-pointer all night, but right now, New Zealand converting 10 out of 19 from downtown. It's halftime, Basel fans. We'll take a short break. We'll return in just over 12 minutes. This is the FIBA Asia Cup qualifiers.
Education, health, justice. We sometimes take these simple things for granted. They're not common for all of us. We are all born on the same planet, but not with the same opportunities.
Whatever our gender, color, belief, or capability, we are one. We are all on the same team. Let's convince those who never thought they would do it that they can. We can. Together, we are stronger. No matter your origin, basketball can bring everyone together. Basketball for good.
Huge three-point attempted, oh my goodness! Mustafa Shed, top scorer in the game.
Good spacing here by Chinese. Oh, that's a monster flush. There's the flex, come on now. Look at this move, little shot fake, drives the baseline and brings the thunder. Look at that, goes to the top floor. Mayfield takes over. Oh, that's a great ball, but look at that for a block. That is absolutely outrageous coming from Brian Hallems.
Drops inside, Winyard goes up, throws it down. With some real passion, gets up the ring, throws it down.
Shoots 33% from two, picked off. Three-point shot, the surely not red hot shot from Mike Lewis to beat the buzzer.
Oh, nice pass to Brynick. Put it on the highlight reel. Atapong Lila Pipoko with the pass of the day. Fennell flirting in. What an alley-oop play that is. The young stars of Australia. Beautiful bounce pass, a big slam. How about the poster? Mungie turning it over on the other side and coming down the floor. So they come up with the steal. Amini to beat the buzzer. Off the glass and his cash money. He remains perfect from the field. And he adds another triple to Iraq's tally. Mohamed Amini having a ball game. Nice pass down low, running the baseline. Oh, look at Broyden, says, get out of my way! Look at him! He breaks out the guns! The crowd's going nuts!
That is unbelievable.
These guys will be legends in their own country, but also in the international basketball world forever.
The New Zealand All versus Philippines, 53-33.
Welcome back, Basel fans. We're live here at the Spark Arena in beautiful Auckland, New Zealand, where currently, indeed, it is a 20-point lead to the home team. While New Zealand simply have been excellent from downtown, converting 10 out of 19 three-pointers, where they are being led by Toby Smith-Milner with 14. While the Philippines, of course, joint combined total at the moment between Justin Brownlee and Jumar Fajardo. Together, they have 15 points apiece. No Philippine player at the moment in double figures. Well, the one positive note here for the Philippines, only 4 turnovers in this game, and they actually are doing a slight better job on the offensive rebounding. But they need to find ways to convert those offensive, well, those second chance points, I should say. Great occasion. This is the 2025 FIBA Asia Cup qualifiers, final game for both New Zealand and the Philippines here in Group B. Both teams haven't already qualified for the FIBA Asia Cup. But tonight, it's simply a matter of basketball pride. National identity. These two countries have a rich tradition in the game of basketball. Well, you think New Zealand, one thing they've done a phenomenal job of is, every time they come up with a rebound, loose ball, or turnover, they push very quickly. And it's not just the backcourt that run. The bigs go down the middle. It's this capacity crowd. Arena holds 10,000 seats, and great to see both fans of New Zealand and the Philippines in the building, really enjoying and embracing the occasion. Well, I just wonder what would have been the message from Tim Cone to his players. Listen, we may have lost to Chinese Taipei, but I want you to go out there and I want you to play for the name on your jersey on the front. Because the absence of Kai Soto did fall to a... we still don't quite know the extent of his recovery time from his injury that he got in the Japanese B-League with the Koshikai Alphas. But definitely for sure, they are missing Kai Soto's double figures. Well, the Philippines came into this window undefeated, having beat New Zealand at home at the Mall of Asia in the November window. But you know for sure, it was going to be undeniable, was New Zealand were going to come here very well prepared for a big response. And I don't think they even anticipated that they were going to be as clinical as they are from the three-point line. Well, the most experienced player, Corey Webster, at the moment, really coming. I wouldn't even say he's a veteran player now. He's still playing at such a prime level. Well, New Zealand currently off the back of a very big 41-point win against Hong Kong, China. Hong Kong, China, of course, eliminated from the FIBA Asia Cup qualifiers. Production. I mean, at the moment, you got many players who are probably going to finish in the double-figure range here for New Zealand. But one thing you got to expect from the Philippines, so much is playing with their hearts on the shoulders. They've got to play smart. Well, Smith-Milner at the moment, along with his 14 points, does have 3 rebounds and 2 assists. One worrying thing for him is he also has 3 personal fouls. So I just wonder. Tim Cone's identified that and said, look, whoever he's got, and you got to go at him. Make him pick up his 4th foul. Well, AJ Edu at the moment is currently leading the Philippines in rebounds. So another Filipino player playing in the Japanese B-League with Nagasaki Velka. He's such a fantastic player and a great person who unfortunately has succumbed to a lot of injuries in his early career. But he's battled through them. Well, Justin Brownlee, where to begin with him? I mean, he is just he's a basketball traveler. He's gone all over the world, you name it. Played in the G League, played in Europe, played in the west of Asia and Lebanon for Al Riyadi. He's a St. John's University graduate in 2011. Was most recently last summer helping Pelita Jaya win the Indonesian Basketball League Championship in that exciting 3-game series against defending champion Satria Muda. As he came to the Philippines in 2016, when he did sign the first time with Ginebra. There's only 3 words that can describe Justin Brownlee in the Philippines: never say die. Well, Brownlee had 39 in that defeat against Chinese Taipei. I think the criticism is that other players need to step in and step up. But I also think that's a bit unfair, because when you're missing such a big focal centerpiece in Kai Soto, you're essentially asking players to do more than they would already do for this team, and that's easier said than done. But I guess when it's game time, you've got no other choice. Well, head coach George Flavel, as I mentioned, was a member of that New Zealand national team back in 2002 that infamously came 4th place at what then was known as the FIBA World Championship, which today we know as the Basketball World Cup. His teammates with Perra Cameron, who used to be the national team coach before him. Well, use that QR code, Basketball fans, and download the official FIBA Asia Cup app. This is the final window, but if you get the app, of course, you can follow everything from the qualification windows right up until this summer, as we head to Saudi Arabia for the 2025 FIBA Asia Cup. Download the official FIBA Asia Cup app. It doesn't look like Toby Smith-Milner's coming back on the floor, because it's so Ty Wynyard's coming out. So naturally, Jordan Atsai does play the power forward for New Zealand. Well, New Zealand will get the first possession due to that jump ball that was called on the baseline late or midway through the second quarter. They have a 20-point advantage. Remember, both teams have already qualified for the FIBA Asia Cup. This is the final game for these two teams here in Group B of the 2025 FIBA Asia Cup qualifiers. Well, Taylor Britt coming back into the game here. Makes the penetration, goes all the way, avoids the block, and that's way too easy. Well, defensively, that's not a great stop for the Philippines. That came off a simple ball screen as well. And Japeth Aguilar subbing into the game for the first time tonight. Another veteran player. Time winding down. Brownlee finds Aguilar. Aguilar. And a nice finish, and I was going to criticize Japeth Aguilar for giving that one up. But Gilman now becomes Giles' leading scorer with 9 points. Webster being defended by Dwight Ramos. But still with the ball in his hands. Foul's going to be called, and I think the Philippines thought a jump ball was going to be called, but I think that's the right decision. Scotty Thompson trying to catch up here with Taylor Britt. So far, he's done a good job, but that's a tough one. That is tough. I think the officials may be talking this one over, because from that angle, it did look like it was a jump ball. Of course, from the prior angle, it looked like it was a foul. But I think the foul has been called in the end. It's tough to say the least. New Zealand lead by 20. Time winded down. Webster trying to ISO here against Ramos. That's good defense, but in the end, better offense coming from Corey Webster. Well, the 36-year young veteran player. You've got to stop calling him a veteran player. And now Webster 7 points so far in the game. Ramos left with a lot of time. Now he'll take the three. It's up. Well, it's on target, but he's unable to finish. New Zealand lead by 22. Well, Webster's made a few threes already. Well, Fajardo had the rebound. Ty Wynyard put his hand in the cookie jar, and here comes New Zealand. Wynyard goes in. Wow. Foul has been called against Jumar Fajardo, but Fajardo's got to realize with his experience, you've got to secure a rebound. But that's just the relentless nature of New Zealand's defense. Well, Cohn's asking the question. He's saying he got old ball, but a technical foul's been called. I don't know if it's been called on Tim Cohn or the Gilas bench. So now it means 3 free throws coming up here for New Zealand. As Webster converts the technical free throw, so now Ty Wynyard will go to the free throw line. Wynyard's only played that one game against Hong Kong China. He had 1 free throw. He's almost had a double-double with 13 and 9 rebounds. Just remember, he made history back in 2014, becoming the youngest New Zealand player to represent the men's national team at 16 years of age. And that was against South Korea, but he didn't get selected that summer to play at the Basketball Cup. A 24-point lead, biggest lead of the game now for New Zealand. Thompson going off one screen. Finds Brownlee. Hasn't taken a 3 tonight. Well, big offensive board by Japavagala. Got to go up with it. And the tip-in's good. Second chance points coming from Jumar. Well, that's all they can ask for at the moment. Play for pride. 11 points so far here for Jumar Fajardo. As Ruben Tarangi penetrates, and a foul's going to be called against Japavagala. Well, another technical's been called, I believe. Now, is it on Japavagala or is it on the Philippines bench? You have to remember the home crowd is going to be inspired from everything that, I say home crowd. We're in New Zealand. We're at the Spark Arena. But it just goes to show how passionate the game of basketball is in the Philippines. The amount of Gilas Filipinas fans in here tonight. Well, Corey Webster just maybe egging the fans back on. It's now 2 free throws coming up here for Ruben Tarangi. He's got 8 points tonight. In the game he played against Hong Kong China, in the past game he had 17. Was their second leading scorer. 25-point lead currently here to New Zealand. Nicola being heavily defended. Now Ramos going up against Corey Webster. Bumps mid-range. Well, every shot Ramos has taken is on target. He's not getting the bounce. Another 3 goes flying. Another offensive rebound. Rick comes up with it. Almost 3 minutes played. Tarangi in the corner. Buries another 3. And it's all New Zealand. 11 points tonight for Ruben Tarangi. I think that's 12 points, excuse me. A 28-point lead. Oh, nice pass. Ramos finding Japavagala. And that is a sublime primetime dime coming from Papa St. Dwight. Well, Tarangi didn't take the 3-pointer. Patiently trying to build something collectively here. New Zealand currently 50% from downtown. Webster now going for an ISO. It's been no good, but another foul is going to be called. I just wonder if Wynyard's going back to the free throw line. This one's going to be against, I don't know if it's on Brownlee or Jumar Fajardo. Already, Philippines have put New Zealand into the penalty. I think that's Jumar's 3rd personal foul, so Tim Cohn sending him right to the bench. Still, Gilas' leading scorer with 11 points. I think what you're seeing now here from New Zealand is what Coach John Flavel was saying in the timeouts in the first half. Look, we've got to be more relentless. We've got to want it and go after second chance points. Right now, for sure, they are battling here. Almost 4 minutes played here in the third quarter. New Zealand still leading by 28 points. Ty Wynyard going to the bench. Chris Newsom also subbing back in the game here for Tim Cone's team. Lenny being heavily defended. Newsom now. Taylor Britt trying to be aggressive on defense. Time winding down. Aguilar goes for Seeloff, goes for fadeaway, and again gets that one to drop. And that was a tough situation for Japeth Aguilar. Well, Webster now gets a switch on defense. They want to go in the paints. Well, good defensive rotations. Chris Newsom just trying to come in for the interception. Well, they just got to keep battling to the end. Simple as that. 10 on the shot clock now for New Zealand. Tarangi goes baseline. Kicks out two. That's going to be a turnover, stepping out of bounds. I think Max Darling is getting ready to check back in the game here for New Zealand. Had that one three-pointer in the first quarter. .9 points is the difference here at the moment. Philippines trying to salvage anything they can here in the final 5:34 to go here in the third quarter. And that's going to be the first team foul against New Zealand here in the third. And that one indeed is on Corey Webster. Well, it's actually a 26-point deficit. I don't know why they had scored the way it was, but second personal for Webster. This could be killing very soon. The fifth player for New Zealand to get into double figures. Has 9 points so far tonight. Newsom trying to work the screen with AJ Edu. Now pulls up from 17. That's much better. Gilas going on a 4-0 run. New Zealand quickly trying to get into some half-court set. Rick kicks out. Darling makes one more pass. Toby Smith-Miller's got 4 threes. Make it 5. Well, he's not missing tonight. 27-point lead. That's the 12th three-point field goal of the game here for New Zealand. I don't think you're going to find a better three-point shooting night for Toby Smith-Milner. It's the patient ball reversal, the penetration, the kick out, and finding the big man wide open. Well, 4:50 to go. It's going to be a battle within these last few minutes for the Philippines. Possession by possession, they've got to build on something. Ramos finds Brownlee. Brownlee step back, misses last three. Edu gets the offensive board. Well, the effort's there, and that's much better by AJ Edu, and that's what they need. That hunger, that desire to fight for second chance points. As now Edu will go to the free throw line. Also Brown picking up the foul. 13th foul against New Zealand here in the third. Well, Ramos is going to take a breather, so Calvin Aftana will sub back in. It's quite a big lineup now, if you think about it. Justin Brownlee will play the 3, Aftana at the 2. Free throw good from AJ Edu. His season last year playing with Toyama Grouses in the B-League was, of course, riddled with injuries. Now having a much better season with Nagasaki Velka. Those free throws do indeed come down to a 25-point deficit. Well, nice pass down the middle. Toby Smith. There's a foul, so 2 free throws coming up. But it's the collective execution from New Zealand. I mean, every play just has a very distinct role within the offense. Sometimes you see an offense conducted where the ball barely touches the ground. Jordan Natai, one of the 3 players right now here for New Zealand in double figures. Both free throws converted. Game tonight for Toby Smith-Milner. He now goes up to 19 points. He's been defended by Max Darling. Kicks out, finds Edu. Oftana now fires a 3, and it's only the 3rd one for Gilas. And he cuts it back down to 24. Now defensively, they've got to play smart here. Now for finding Isaac. Darling coming up again, setting that ball screen. Darling's made 1 3. Can he make 13 here for New Zealand? Brownlee comes up with a rebound. Philippines can cut it to 15 before going to the 4th quarter. That would be huge. Edu now goes in. No foul called. Gets his own rebound. 3rd time lucky. Simply too big, too strong, and just too good. Well, you can question this man as much as you want, but one thing that's undeniable is his simple, relentless nature to keep on playing. Toledo University. Now he'll go to the free throw line to try and cut this down to a 21-point deficit. I'm not quite sure what Coach John Flavel's arguing here at the moment. So now it's an even bigger lineup. So Juma Fajardo comes back in. Brownlee at the 3, Edu at the 4. And I wonder how they're going to cope here against a very lethal quick New Zealand backcourt. That's still a very impressive stat. 14 offensive boards for the Philippines. If they were only able to convert a few more of the 3-pointers, this could have been a closer game. Fajardo gets a rebound. Brownlee defended by Darling. Edu's got a mismatch. Edu now kicks out, finds Newsom. He'll fire a 3. It's on target. That's a good look. If you make that, it's a 19-point deficit. But that's a good offense from Gilas. And half an hour looking for Darling. Patience has been the key aspect here from New Zealand. And half it down the middle. Puts up a teardrop. Too strong off the backboard. Goes out of bounds. And I think that's going to remain possession to the home team, potentially. Now Tim Cone, lost for words, but no, they've overturned it. Gilas will get it back. I think John Flavel's saying to Leaf, oh no, he's saying to Kai Isaac, hey, if you're open, shoot it. Newsom having to work to get open. I think the ball at the floor. And Newsom looking for the penetration. Now finds a mid-range. Shot is up. A beautiful move by Chris Newsom. Well, Philippines much better here in the latter stage of the 3rd quarter. So now they have a switch on defense. And just listen to the Filipino fans here in this building. Britnow kicks out, finds Natsai corner, doesn't get it. And Gilas come up with another board. Well, Brownlee being heavily defended by Darling. Fajardo comes high here on the triangle. Well, a foul's been called. Well, I'm asking the same question as Ty Wynyard. It's almost like he grabbed the ball. If anything, a jump ball should have been called, but definitely trust the referee's view of that one. So 2 free throws coming up for Juma Fajardo. Well, chance again to chip into this deficit. 1:51 to go here in the third quarter. Well, Fajardo missing the first free throw. He's missed 2 tonight, and he missed them both. Well, New Zealand trying to regather themselves. It's been quite an inspiring run so far here from Gillis. Leafa trying to go quickly. Tarangi trying to get a seal off here against Aftana. Now Brett, who's been great from the mid-range. And again, this guy simply has the confidence to take over. And it's that quick mid-range off the dribble. And he's going to be an exciting player for the future of New Zealand basketball. New Zealand don't want to commit any more fouls. Well, AJ Edu doesn't take many threes again. AJ Edu, are you kidding me? I don't think I've seen him make a three-pointer when he played for Toyama Grouses or even now for Nagasaki Velka. But great to see him have the confidence. Outside goes baseline. Leafa now pump fakes. Splits the defense. Too strong, can't get it. Edu with a rebound. Now Gilas potentially could go 2 for 1. Brownlee now getting a screen hit from Edu. Now got it by Ngatai. Kicks out. Aftana's made 1-3. Almost got it. Now would have been big. And here comes Tarangi. Well, Tarangi turns it over. Now, almost 2 seconds difference between game and shot clock. Gilas didn't go for the last one at the end of the first half, but now they need that patience. Brownlee calling for a screen. Fajardo comes up to set. Finds Fajardo. Big man's got to go up with it. Aftana, time winding down, puts up another 3. And that's not going to go. Now Leafa, bit of time for New Zealand from the half court. Almost finished that one. Well, it's been an inspiring run from the Philippines late here in the third, but they still trail by 19. New Zealand very much still in control of this one, but we'll have 10 final minutes to decide who's going to finish top of Group B here in the 2025 FIBA Asia Cup qualifiers. Well, New Zealand only made 2 3-pointers in that third quarter. Philippines made 1. That came from Calvin Aftana. They had some good looks, though. Interesting, Philippines, more field goals from inside the rainbow. So at the end of this game, however it goes, if it does go in favor of New Zealand, it's been the perimeter shooting. Well, let's look at the highlights here from the third quarter. Well, New Zealand almost had a lead of 30 points. So Gillis much more productive here on both ends of the floor. Well, here's a great play by Fajardo. Still leads the Philippines with 11 points. Also has 4 rebounds. But you've also got to give credit to AJ Edu. Edu so far making that 1 3-pointer. Indeed, it's been a much better production in Japavagala. What a dime coming from Dwight Ramos, finding Japavagala. And there's a turnaround in the paint. And going back to 2013 when the FIBA Asia Cup was hosted in the Philippines. Japavagala really put himself on the international stage. Well, you saw the 3-pointer from Tony Smith-Milner. Leading scorer in this game at 19 is Chris Newsom. So far giving the Philippines a bit of life from the backcourt with 7 points. Well, again, welcome here to the Spark Arena and download Courtside 1891. Using that QR code, stream FIBA Live games and get all the streams and schedules and scores. Courtside 1891, download it today. Well, I think you expected this kind of response from New Zealand. considering how historic and how competitive the last game was when these two teams met at the FIBA Mall of Asia. It's Tim Cone. You can see right now, he's got a very talented team, but I think for them, it's about knowing if they're going to have Kai Soto fit and available for the FIBA Asia Cup this summer. And now Newsom, right here in the backcourt for Gilas. 19-point deficit, a much better third quarter as mentioned for the Philippines. Altana tries another three, and it's just not dropping today. New Zealand with Tarangi, Britt, Webster, Wynyard, and Natsai on the floor at the moment. Defended by Kyle Tamayo, who's also come back in for the Philippines. Trying to go for a post-up, can't finish. Wynyard can't get the putback, and AJ Edu. Well, if it's one thing you've got to pull at him tonight, it's his ability to keep these New Zealand players off the second chance points. This now kicks out. Jabba Vagala playing a bit of bully basketball. And great to see him back in action. Probably the most experienced player on this team. He's playing for the Philippines in the last three FIBA Basketball Cups. Webster goes behind the back. And again, another miss. Well, New Zealand, as clinical as they were in the first half, showing their struggles from inside the three-point line. Is Edu going up for a ball screen? Newsom now bumps, draws a foul. He'll go to the free throw line. Quite a hard hit Taylor Britt took on that one. I think that's going to be his third personal foul. Going into the game yet again here for New Zealand. Now Chris Newsom at the free throw line. Well, Chris Newsom, currently 34 years of age, actually from San Jose, California, played at Ateneo University, drafted into PBA in 2015 by the Morocco Bolts, where he spent the entirety of his career since 2015. PBA champion in 2024 in the Philippine Cup. And the finals MVP. 11 points now for Newsom. 15-point deficit. Webster. Pump fakes. Great defense by Altana. And there's another deep three, and that's not going to go. Philippines right now inspired by their run from the third quarter. Now Newsom. Nowhere to go, finds Kyle Tamayo. Tamayo's made 1 3. And again, nobody crashing the boards. There's both Aguilar and Edu on the perimeter. Well, no foul called. Gets his own rebound. Kicks out. Now Webster. He'll pull up quickly off the dribble. Goodness gracious. Oh, the speed and stealth of how he got that one off. 13 three-pointer tonight for New Zealand. 12 now for Corey Webster. And Newsom finds Altana in the corner. Nice response, and it's 3 for 3 at the moment. Back and forth. Much better tempo to this game here in the second half. Foul's going to be called against Newsom. Altana now moving up to 8 points. Well, look at this. How quickly, even with AJ Edu's hand in his face, and back down the other end. Well, it's become a cookout. And you got to ask the question, had this been like it was, well, if this been the start of the game, this could have been a very different outcome, but it's a 15-point ball game. New Zealand calls timeout. I think right now, as you see download the official FIBA Asia Cup app on your phone, your smartphone, your tablet, or Android. Of course, you can use that app to follow all the best news, stats, and highlights as we head into the 2025 FIBA Asia Cup. Well, look at it right there. Second quarter, New Zealand only won by 5 points. Third quarter, Gilas won that one, and now Philippines leading by 4. So if the Philippines, of course, they had a better start to this game, this could have been very competitive. And I'll tell you right now, these two teams, given if Kai Soto comes back healthy, both of them respectfully can be title contenders for this summer's FIBA Asia Cup. When you look at the perimeter shooting, rightfully so, New Zealand are in the lead. Well, Corey Webster right now, as I mentioned, has represented this national team for a very, very long time. New Zealand haven't only played in 2 FIBA Asia Cups. Beirut, Lebanon in 2017, and winning the bronze medal in Indonesia. And they go for another 3. It's up, nothing dropping. Edu gets a rebound. Well, you feel like it's going to erupt in this arena, the Spark Arena in Auckland, if they get something. Both teams only committing 1 foul here in the 4th quarter. Do some fighting around the screen. Down the middle goes in. Simply unstoppable. And now it's a 13-point deficit. Gilas continue to fight. Well, that's going to be another New Zealand turnover. And maybe, just maybe, New Zealand got way too comfortable when they went up by 29. Tarangi trying to argue. Filipino fans, well, you gotta love it. We may be in the Spark Arena, but the atmosphere tonight has been simply electrifying. Well, here's the take by Chris Newsom down the middle of the Morocco Bulls superstar. Nobody came out to stop him. It's the 2024 PBA MVP Finals, or Finals MVP, I should say. Well, here's the seal-off now. That's a good no-call. Tarangi may have just lost his balance. Well, 13 points, still the separation. New Zealand trying to ride this storm here at the moment. Finds Brownlee, goes in. Now it's an 11-point ball game. And had this been the start of the 1st quarter, this could have been a very different outcome. But still New Zealand holding on. 7-0 run. Deep 3. Another miss. Give us a chance to make it single digits. Another Horns offense. Double high screen coming for Chris Newsom. He's been terrific so far in that point guard role. Newsom steps back. Big 3. Can't get it, but great job by Smith Milner. Preventing A.J. Edu getting an offensive board. O'Donnell was wide open. Now Webster pulls up, mid-range, takes it, and buries that one. The experience of Webster stepping up big time for New Zealand. Well, Brownlee now finds Edu. Aftana can cut it down to 10, and the 3 is just not dropping tonight. The 24 attempted 3-pointers for the Philippines, only making 5 of them. Isaac now defended by Aftana. Goes in, simply too strong. Tough move, and it's back to a 15-point ball game. And Tim Cohn's gonna call timeout. It's been an inspiring play from both teams, definitely here in the 2nd half, but I think if this game tells us anything, it's going to be a quite exciting competitive FIBA Asia Cup this summer. Well, we'll be hosted in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. The first time the FIBA Asia Cup has been hosted in Saudi Arabia since 1997, when Korea won that one. He'll take a lot of inspiration, a lot of good learning points from his team in this game. But 64 points coming from the starting 5, 17 from the bench. Aguilas, I mean, the rotation, even without Kai Soto, 40 points from the bench tonight. I mean, that's still something. They'll take a few positives from. Well, when you talk about the history of the FIBA Asia Cup, it was the Philippines who won the first 2 in 1960, 1963, then known as the ABC, the Asian Basketball Championship. Of course, Philippines have won, indeed, 5 FIBA Asia Cup championships. The last time they won was in 1985 when they defeated Korea in the finals in Kuala Lumpur. Well, Dwight Ramos, Scotty Thompson coming back into the lineup. Very good game, I would say, from Chris Newsom. Well, 5:13 left. If it's going to end the way it's been the last 10 minutes, if you want to go for the final 5 in the third quarter, it's going to be quite an exciting finish. Ramos being heavily defended. Now killing off one screen here with AJ Edu. Now Brownlee. Ramos straight off the bench, goes for another one. That's a good look, he had to take it. And New Zealand, no need to rush anything at the moment. You want to wear this one down. Webster goes screen, set by Smith-Milner, gets stripped. And now it's a 2-on-1. AJ Edu's gonna finish. Oh, he missed the layup, but Thompson battles. Still nothing there. Well, AJ Edu had a tough angle. You gotta appreciate the defense coming from Webster. Now Britt splits down the defense. Oh, what a pass. Foul's gonna be called, so Zoe Smith-Milner now will go to the free throw line. He's made both his free throws this evening. I thought Britt was gonna shoot that, but completely fooled out the entire defense and the commentator. Well, 19 points tonight for Smith-Milner. Converts the first free throw. Both free throws made, extending it back to a 17-point deficit. It's going to be a very interesting summer now for the Philippines because Tim Coach still got quite a few players he can bring into this lineup. Another turnover, Edu throwing that one away. Red now comes up with it. Donnelly looking for a handoff. Finding Webster, nice pass goes in, get it rejected. Well, what a block by AJ Edu. Now Ramos finds Thompson, 3, wide open, and it's just not falling. Well, it was wide open, he had to take that one. Now Webster quickly goes at the defense. A good job there by Ramos, taking the ball away from Webster, but again, the Philippines down by 17. Brownlee's gonna turn this over, and here comes Ngatai. Chased by Aguilar, goes in, another rejection. Well, it's become the Filipino block party. First Edu, now Aguilar. Ramos bumps. Draws a foul, but it's gonna be called on the ground, so a baseline possession coming up for Gilas. Well, here was the first one. Edu said, "Thou shalt not enter." And again, Aguilar said, "Thou shalt not enter." Goodbye. Well, CJ Perez back in the game now for the Philippines. Penetrates. There's a bit of a deflection there. Not sure how much contact, but here comes New Zealand. Taylor Britt trying to go for the acrobatic pass, but it's going to be a kickball violation. So baseline ball now here with 2:53 to go. New Zealand, if they win this one, which is looking very likely, they're going to have to take down to their perimeter shooting tonight. Smith-Milner trying to get a seal off here against Perez. That's a tough one, can't finish. Second shot's no good, but third time is a charm. 23 points tonight for Zoe Smith-Milner. Well, he's just been a force to be reckoned with inside the key and on the perimeter for that matter. 2 rebounds away from a double-double. As Perez draws the foul, he'll now go to the free throw line. Well, he's made 1 shot tonight. He has 2 points. This is only only averaged 4 points per game. His most was against Hong Kong, China, when he did have 8 here in the FIBA Asia Cup qualifiers. CJ Perez, he was drafted in the PBA in 2018 by Terra Firma. Then joined San Miguel Bimmen in 2021. Two-time PBA champion in the Philippine Cup in 2022 and the Commissioner's Cup in 2024. Second free throw good, cutting it down to an 18-point deficit. Leafa now penetrates. Smith-Milner has been on 5-9, and this guy, well, again, hitting the front iron. And that high arc almost looks like a negative parabola every time he takes a three-pointer. Perez now looking to attack. Nice spin out, goes in, but he loses control. Jump ball's gonna be called. Well, Kai Isaac thought he got fouled, but hey, physical game, you gotta contain it. Possession arrow going in favor of New Zealand. As now indeed we're under 2 minutes. Here's picking up the 13th foul here against the Philippines in the 4th and final quarter. Both teams 1 foul to give. Well, New Zealand tonight, 43 rebounds in total. 13 of those coming off the offensive board. That's going to take a deflection. I think that's going to remain possession to New Zealand. I think they called a foul here, actually. No. I think they're going to go to the monitors to review this. Inconclusive, but we're going to see who had the last touch. Well, the lieutenant is now part of the assistant coaching staff. I don't know if you saw right behind Tim Kilmer. Great to see L.A. Tenorio now working as assistant coach here with Gilas Pilipinas. Because many Ginebra fans know him as one of the greatest point guards they had in their history. Let's have a look here. I think that does take a last touch off CJ Perez's foot. Good hands by Dwight. I think that's pretty conclusive. And those are good hands again. Perez's right foot may have just got a final touch. Well, New Zealand will get this one back. Still plenty of time off the inbound. Outside goes in, can't finish. But New Zealand just scramming everywhere, falling up loose balls. Now Isaac down the middle, pulls up, goes in, can't finish. Brownlee comes up with it. Final 90 seconds. Now JB finds Ramos. He'll fire a 3 and sub again. Tucks that one away, and it's back to a 15-point deficit. Well, that's been the difference in this game. New Zealand's just been much better, excuse me, from the three-point line. As now we're over a minute. Leafa finds Toby Smith-Milner, goes in, finishes with a tough dive coming. I think the officials just identified there is a wet spot on the floor. Well, had it not been for the three-point excellence from New Zealand in the first quarter, this could have been a very different game. Well, Jackson Ball coming into the game for the first time for New Zealand, another youngster. And that is the beauty of these FIBA international windows, whether it's the Continental Qualifiers or the Basketball World Cup Qualifiers, is it gives every national team, both for the men and women, a chance to showcase and to give a pathway. As Tomato Isaac, who also featured for New Zealand at the beginning of the season at the Under-18 FIBA Asia Championship in Jordan. To see youth coming through the pathway. It's now heavily defended. He's going to go for a step back. That took a deflection. Kim Bao wasn't aware of it. He'll go for a quick three. This one's up, and that rolls its way out. The basketball refusing to obey the laws of gravity. That's the exact counter response Coach Flavel expected and demanded from his players in this game. This game had little impact on whether these two teams would make it. They'd already qualified for the FIBA Asia Cup. There's a deep three. That's up. Not going to go. Edu Towers to the rebound. And he's able to secure a final offense. Final play of the 2025 FIBA Asia Cup qualifiers for the Philippines. Perez goes in. He's unable to finish. And I think New Zealand are happy to dribble this one out. Well, all roads end here tonight. These two teams, will see them again this summer in Saudi Arabia, the 2025 FIBA Asia Cup. But New Zealand win this one. Second defeat for the Philippines here in the Asia Cup qualifiers. New Zealand will top the group as they win 87-70. Well, the first quarter simply belonged to New Zealand. The dominant three-point showcase this team cooked out tonight, finishing indeed with a very impressive perimeter stat. Tonight they were 13 out of 33, just below 40% from three-point land. And had this game started a little bit different, they could have gone right down to the wire. A better improvement from the Philippines in the second half, but it was just too little too late. New Zealand win by 17. They'll finish top of Group B. And as I said, we'll see both teams at this summer's FIBA Asia Cup. Well, again, you got to give credit to the fans who came here tonight at the Spark Arena in Auckland. A sellout crowd in this 10,000 seat capacity arena. It was simply a breathtaking atmosphere. Well, this summer indeed will be the 31st edition of the FIBA Asia Cup. New Zealand, for them tonight, it was about pride. It was a great game in the reverse fixture back in the Mall of Asia Arena back in November. It was New Zealand's first defeat ever to the Philippines. Remember, the first time they met was in 2016 in that very arena at the Olympic qualifying tournament. But without Kai Soto, you can definitely see he is a huge missing centerpiece for the Philippines. Well, the FIBA Asia Cup this summer will take place between the 5th to the 17th of August. Here are the stats from this game. 13 three-point field goals. That was the big difference. We had a great rebounding night between two teams. Very physical battles, 45-42. And only 3 assists was the difference. But 25 points for Toi Smith-Milner. And listen to the fans here in the Spark Arena. They are chanting Gilas. Well, momentarily, we're going to take a look at the highlights from this game. A much more exciting second half, but great to see. Well, here's a tough play by Japeth Aguilar. And as mentioned, their most experienced player. Aguilar tonight finishes 6 points. And there's a three-pointer. A quick release coming from Corey Webster. I don't think A.J. Edu could have done anything better. And there was Calvin Aftana's three-pointer. The quick response, the assist coming from Chris Newsom. And Newsom only had 2 assists tonight to go along with his 13 points, but what a penetration down the middle. And that time finding Justin Brownlee. And after 39 points against Chinese Taipei tonight, only had 10. But here was Webster one more time, showcasing his brilliance. Well, Webster did finish at 14. 5 out of 9 from the field. It was a rejection by Edu. And then again by Aguilar, preventing that side from having an easy bucket. And third time lucky, Toi Smith-Milner just too physical. Well, that was the three-pointer, the second one of the night for Dwight Ramos. And that was just how this game went. I mean, it was a much more competitive, more exciting game in the second half. But both coaches, Judd Flavel and Tim Cone, shake hands. And they could very well see each other this summer. Could be in the group stage, could be in the knockout round, could be in the final. We'll never know until we get there. Remember, this summer, the 2025 FIBA Asia Cup will take place in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. New Zealand, Philippines, Chinese Taipei have all booked their tickets. They're on their way. It's all over here in game day 6 for this Group B. As we look at the teams who have already qualified, one more game actually to come here in Group B, as Hong Kong, China will host Chinese Taipei. And that game will take place a little bit later this afternoon. On the road to Jeddah, the 2025 FIBA Asia Cup. Australia, China, Iran, Jordan, Japan, Korea, Lebanon, New Zealand, Gilas, Philippines, and Qatar have all qualified. 4 remaining spots left. Who will join our hosts, Saudi Arabia. Well, basketball fans, unfortunately, it is that time of day where we'd like to say thank you for joining us. But for now, it's goodbye and God bless. More games to come here in the FIBA Continental Qualifiers. We'll see you soon. Thanks for joining us in the Spark Arena live here in Auckland, New Zealand.